Personal experience with grief is one of the prerequisites to empathetic grieving. Highly sensitive people may not have had the experience, but can easily put themselves in another person's place, feeling all the same emotions. Hi, my name is Gladys Bell, and I'm a volunteer with the Motherless Daughters Ministry. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your day today and let you know that this channel was originally put together to connect with women everywhere in order to share information, encouragement, our stories, and to let you know that you're not alone. There are other women who are experiencing what you are going through and need to talk to somebody that understands. If this is helpful to you, we'd like to ask you to give us a review, a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and share it with other motherless daughters. Empathy is defined in the Collins English Dictionary as the ability to share another person's feelings and emotions as if they were your own. Empathetic grieving involves feeling the loss with the other individual rather than feeling sympathy for another when they have experienced loss. Today, I just wanted to share two experiences with you where I had a surprising response to the recollection of a family member's loss that happened decades ago. It took me by surprise both times because I don't remember ever having thought about it in quite this way in terms of grieving. The first experience came when I returned to be involved with motherless daughters after I retired. Since my original introduction to the ministry, many resources had been added. As the new courses were described, it occurred to me that my mother had to have been emotionally absent, at least for a period of my childhood, as a certified public school teacher and reading specialist. She was very observant and sensitive to the needs of young children. I never felt neglected or deprived of anything that I needed. But the conversation about the emotionally absent mother caused me to reminisce about my childhood. When my mother divorced, she moved back to her parents' home, and shortly thereafter, her mother died. She remained there to support her dad and help raise her younger sister and brother, who were my age. Being young in her teaching career, she now helped to manage her father's household, was raising her daughter, and being a mother figure to her younger siblings while handling her own grief. As a child, it just never occurred to me, neither did I ever suspect that she was having a difficult time. Because she was close to her parents, she had to have been emotionally absent for a while, at least. When I realized this, it was like I was thinking about it for the very first time. I spent days thinking about what she must have gone through and weeping over my mother's loss of her mother. The second incident happened recently when I was invited to the exhuming of remains from a grave that was 100 years old. My paternal uncle had requested that his sister's remains be moved to the family plot. He died at 96 years of age before this was actually accomplished. She had been buried in the only grave that was available to the family at the time, which was at another cemetery. This sister was actually my grandmother's first child. She and my uncle were holding their grandmother's hands, crossing the street on their way from a local store when she pulled away to retrieve her shoe, which had come off of her foot. She was hit by a car and killed instantly at the age of 4. They used sonar to find the exact location of this grave. The exhumation was slow, it was tedious, and very respectful. It was like an archaeological excavation. As they began to retrieve parts of the deteriorated wooden casket, some of its hardware, they finally began to find parts of the skeleton. When they recovered the first parts, which were parts of the skull, it just washed over me like a flood, and I began to grieve my grandmother's loss of her baby girl, her first child. Having recently lost my daughter, it gripped me like a vice as I thought about what my grandmother must have felt standing there by that grave with that very small casket. Again, I was ambushed by a flood of emotion as my father named me after her. I'm her namesake. Whether the grief is new, unresolved, delayed, sympathetic, or empathetic, grief is painful and it's exhausting. Having experienced loss, we know something about how those people are going through the situation that they're handling. Because we know the pain, the grief of others can also serve as a trigger, giving us yet another opportunity to learn how to manage our own grief. The support of those who understand is strengthening. The Motherless Daughters community serves as such a support. And we want you to know that we are here for you and that you are not alone.